Today's lesson, we are trying to sample these pictures. Okay? So let's start here and see the demonstration. The first person here is saying me. Me. Second person in the middle is saying you. He's saying to this person you, pointing at him. And the third person is saying she. Demonstrations, you can see. And the words used here are pronouns. So it's all about pronouns. The title or the topic of the lesson. Pronouns. Grammatical pronouns. So we go. Let's read through. You should remember that pronouns can replace nouns and prevent monotony or boring essays. Using pronouns in your writing. I will also say speaking too, but let's take this one. In your writing helps to make your work interesting, thereby overcoming boredom. Without pronouns, we would have the kind of writing shown below. This is the writing we're talking about. So let's look at them. We'll read them and correct them at once to avoid it being cumbersome. So let's read and correct them at the same time. So we say, Mrs. Babington is a fine old lady. Instead of saying Mrs. Babington again, we can say she lives. The next word or the verb will connect us. It will give us the word to use next, the pronoun to use next. So here it is. She lives across our street. And her house, possessive pronoun. Her house and her house has a lovely garden which she waters daily. Her husband, Mr. Babington, used to work in a hospital. However, both he and she, instead of saying Mr. Babington and Mrs. Babington, he and she. And why are we using he and she? Because there is half here. Because we will say he has, and we also say she has. So he and she have a dog named Bingo. It is friendly, that is the Bingo, and helpful. It actually takes out the dustbin and guides Mr. and Mrs. Babington's garden rather, guides Mr. and Mrs. Babington's garden jealously. You can see the way we replace all of them. If we don't want to say guides Mr. and Mrs. Babington's garden, we can say guides their garden jealously. We remove all of them and say guide their gardens jealously. You can see the underlined pronouns, okay, or names are underlined so that they can be replaced, and they are the things we replaced. So I want you to study them and memorize them. That is how we can build our vocabulary. I just tell you, this is the way I learned. Read widely. There was nothing I did not read, because it helps. Because it finally helped me to boost